Hello, and welcome to another episode of Cheap Seats. Today we're going to be talking all things Ralf Ragnick, but today is an interesting day. It's an interesting week for us here at Cheap Seats. If you watched our FPL show, if you haven't, please do watch it. Deadline closes tonight at 8 p.m., but you can carry on because it is Tuesday. You can watch this video throughout the week. We're having a competition, running it with Classic Shirts ZA at classicshirts.co.za in the corner, right by my head. Other side, yes, other side, right there, right there, yes. And they are giving away an awesome prize for all you Manchester United faithful. It's a 1999 classic Manchester United jersey with the sharp and everything. And what you have to do, there are a couple of things you're going to have to do. Let me just give you those instructions. You're going to have to go to our Instagram page at One World Sports Radio and like the post. That's the first thing you have to do. So you're going to go to our Instagram page, find the post. It's not that hard to find. And then like the post. Next thing you're going to have to do is tag a friend in the comment section. A lot of people already tagged. Many other people are coming in. One comment equals one entry. And then finally, you have to then go to Classic Shirts ZA on Instagram and follow them. And then on top of that, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so, because if you want to win the shirt, that's what it is. So most importantly, just please do that. But Classic Shirts ZA are great people to partner with. I got this lovely baby with me today in the post, 3 little birds. Ajax third kit, really awesome guys. A really great service, because I was wondering how I would be able to get these type of kits in South Africa. Wahid, you've used them before.
Awesome shirts, free delivery. They do Premier League printing, they do Champions League printing. Basically anything you want, they can do. They can get currencies and stuff like this. They can get players edition kits. They can get fans edition kits. They can get classic kits. I know. In a couple of weeks' time, you'll see all the boys here kitted out in some classic kits. Lucky we don't have any City fans on this podcast, because they don't have any classic kits.
Classic kit would be just topless for us.
One thing I'm going to say is I'm going to take you back to the best 11 podcast we did, and the special player which we discussed at length, and that was David Beckham. And I have seen that shirt that's up for grabs, and the printing on the back is 7 Beckham, the player who put in the corner for both goals United scored at 91 and 93. So if you're a Beckham fan and you're a United fan, that's a very special kit that you'd want as part of your collection, and not that difficult to go and win it.
And all the instructions for the competition will be in our comments box on the YouTube channel, on Facebook. At the bottom, just go there. You can click, follow the links. That will take you wherever you need to be taken. Gents, today our discussion, we found out, yesterday, that Ralf Ragnick is now Manchester United manager for 6 months or for however long until the end of the season. Then he'll move up into the echelons of whatever is there where Ed Woodward sits. And so the question I have today is, obviously, is he United's new savior? But let's start with something interesting. This weekend, we saw Manchester United play Chelsea, and one thing really interested me in Carrick's new reign was his ability to bench Cristiano Ronaldo. A lot of people thought it was a decision that would get him fired very quickly. But what do you guys think, AB? What do you think about Carrick benching Ronaldo? Is it something you want to see going forward? You know, Carrick and not Carrick, Carragher and Roy Keane had a massively long debate about it. What are your thoughts on it?
So, I'm against benching Ronaldo purely on the fact that, I've got 2 points here. So, I don't believe Man United have any leaders in their team. I feel like we have a lot of players who think they're leaders. Maguire is the obvious standout. He's apparently the club captain. He's had a really bad season ever since he's donned a United shirt since the Euros or whatever tournament was played. I don't watch international football because it's horrible. I think Ronaldo is a true leader. And I think if you give Ronaldo the opportunity to score a goal, which is something United are struggling with, he can score that goal. And we've seen that in in the Champions League this season. Ronaldo has literally taken United through by himself to the knockout stages. So I'm against benching Ronaldo. I understand why Carrick did it, but I'm against benching him just going forward.
Okay, Wahid, where do you sit with this on this Ronaldo question? The system doesn't necessarily work for him. A lot of people said it was the press. He's not pressing too high enough, or he's not giving an effort in the press.
Yeah, you don't sign Cristiano Ronaldo to press, do you? You sign to score goals. But having said that, I think that one of the big issues was that Ole Ole had a clear idea of how football should be played in his mind, and he was given Ronaldo at a very late stage in the transfer window, and I think in his mind, in probably his unsophisticated thinking, he probably thought that he could stick Ronaldo into the system that he already had, and it was like a cheat code where he just bang it in left, right, and center within that system. And it doesn't really work like that. You can't take a player like that and put him into a system which, where a player like Cavani, who's all energy and all running, thrives, and take a player like Ronaldo, who doesn't run, he's not going to thrive in the same way that Cavani thrives, because it's just a different system. And I think that's probably where the mistake was made. I'm personally not against benching Ronaldo. As I've said before, I think the best half of football that we played all season was against Everton, when in the first half when Ronaldo didn't actually play, because we saw the pressing of Cavani up front, and we played really well. And if the manager is of the opinion that Cristiano Ronaldo is not going to help the team in the first 60 or 70 minutes because we need counter-attacking players like Sancho and Rashford, or we need players to press from the front like Cavani and Bruno Fernandes, then I'm not averse to dropping him. I don't think he's made the type of difference that people think he's made. Yes, he scored clutch goals, but he's not helping the overall team structure. I actually think he's holding the team structure back. So we look at Juventus last season, he scored 28 goals, but did the team really prosper with him in it? No. And I think Man United are now in a similar situation where, yes, he's scoring goals, but the team isn't moving forward. We've seen it before. Van Nistelrooy, towards the end of his career, yes, in the first part of his United career, he was carrying United to victories and titles. But in the latter part of his career, the goals sort of masked how he was holding the team back. And getting rid of him was United's catalyst in moving forward and winning titles again. And I think Ronaldo's sitting in that situation where he's scoring goals. Yes, his numbers are good. Yes. But is the team better as a result of Ronaldo? I'm not sure.
Okay, that was a very intriguing analogy with Van Nistelrooy at the back end of his career. It begs the question to me, Dean, we've asked it many times, why did they sign him in the first place if he's going to score goals but not help the overall thing? Because we thought last season Manchester United's biggest problem was, yes, defensive midfield, but also the ability to be able to score more goals. There's one way you fix it if you have defensive frailties. It's either like Spurs does, give the ball to Harry and let Harry score as many as he can, and then forget about what happens behind. But now it seems as though, as Wahid says, he's hurting the team. What do you do now?
I mean, I have no sympathy for United fans. Literally everyone knows United signed Ronaldo when he was on the plane to the better team in Manchester, and they signed him just for vibes. They signed him just because they didn't want to bear to see him in a blue shirt. So everyone knew United wasn't going to do or make United a better team. I think anyone is delusional that thinks that Ronaldo was gonna fix that team. And I think at the moment what you're seeing is very much a case of you have to try and fit Ronaldo into a team because he's one of the greatest players of all time. So it's weird to not want to play Ronaldo. The problem is with Ralf now, and as you said, I don't think Ronaldo doesn't seem to fit the team that he's going to put out. And I think, Carrick was asked a question on the weekend of was there a bit of Ralf influence in his team selection? And he obviously answered no, but to a large extent, I think there was, because if you look at that formation they played, that 4-3-3, it was very similar to what, I don't want to say what a Liverpool would play, but the kind of three in the middle and then three up front with trying to press and the wing backs coming up. And I
Bruno
think
almost took the
if
Firmino role this week.
Yeah, Bruno took the Firmino role, but the problem is, and I'm sure we'll discuss this at length, but United just don't have the players to be able to play like he needs them to, or what we would be accustomed to teams playing this way. We can disagree, but let's have a look. You don't have a solid right wing back that can put the balls in the box. Agree or not?
I don't
Do you
think he
think
needs a
Aaron
solid
Wan-Bissaka
wing back. He plays four at the back. He plays fullbacks.
Yes, he
Rangnick.
plays forward the back, but he also pushes when you need to push. So if you have a look at any of the teams that play the same way, Klopp,
Fair enough.
Klopp, don't think so. So you guys don't have a Liverpool.
Okay, so that's one Bissaka. Yeah, sure enough.
Okay. Luke Shaw, Alex Telles, are they on the same level of Andrew Robertson? I don't think so. Do you have
Shaw's ceiling is the same ceiling as Robertson? It's not there at the moment, but that's the level at which he operates when he's at his best.
But we also know that Ralf said 2 years ago that United need a new left wing back because Shaw isn't at the same quality. So
but Dean was Shaw the same player 2 years ago as he is right now.
Fact, but what I'm saying is, my point is, I don't think Ralf is going to come in. Look, he's coming in at a great time because United fixtures he's not gonna take charge of Arsenal this week, but he's got Palace, then young boys in the Champions League, which United have already qualified for, so fine there. Then you got Norwich, Brentford, Brighton, Newcastle, Burnley, Wolves, and then Villa. So in terms of games to come in, that's exactly the type of game or the run of fixtures that you want a new coach to come in because it's not that difficult. And you can kind of play around.
Why did they fire Oli? Were we going to lose those games?
But all I'm trying to say is Ralf is going to come in and he's not going to wave a magic wand and boom, United are going to become instantly better. This is a 6 month, maybe a year, probably 2 transfer windows, maybe even 3 from being the kind of team with the types of players and what you would expect him to want, need, and for United to get good. So for all those thinking we are now going to challenge for the title, not that I'm saying a lot of United fans are, not what here do I be, but I don't think it's instant fix. And that's the point I'm trying to make.
Wahid, what do you want to see from this United team under Ralf for these next 6 months? Because he's not going to be there for 3 years. He's not trying to build something like you were entrusting Ole. Someone else is coming in next season. What do you want to see with the squad that you have from Ralf?
So I think Gary Neville had hit the nail on the head when he said Ralf has 6 months to fix the team and then 2 years to fix the club. And I think that's probably what the best we can hope for is that Ralf comes in and starts to implement a philosophy of a pressing philosophy in his capacity as a consultant / probably a sporting director type of role that he's going to get. He appoints a manager who plays to his image. So he's not going to tear it up and start again. So if Ralf wants to play, if Ralf starts implementing this Klopp-like system, he appoints a manager who gives some continuity to that. So yes, I'm not expecting United to come out, tear it up and start winning. I'm not even expecting United to pull a Chelsea here. I'm just expecting an improvement. I think there will be an improvement because as much as Dean says we're missing a few players, we are missing a few players, but we have some really good players. And a player who I think will really fit well into a Ralf Rangnick team is Fred. He presses really well. Jesse Lingard's another one. Donny van der Beek is another one. These players will fit well into a Ralf team. And I think Ralf, with his experience, will be able to handle a squad better than Ole was able to. Ole had a few favorites and a few players he trusted and wasn't really good at his squad management. And I think with the experience of Ralf, he'll be able to pull in some form of squad management. And I suspect we'll see an improvement. As Dean says, that will be a nature of maybe Ralf implementing some kind of change in philosophy and tactics, but also as a result of us coming out of this hard run of fixtures and into an easier run of fixtures. That's not to say that we find any fixtures easy because we got thrashed 4-1 by Watford. So I'm expecting that we won't be thrashed by minnows anymore, like Spurs and Watford. But I mean, we will put up a fight against stuff like that.
Okay. Well, he mentioned that AB that he wants Ralf to fix the team and to fix the club. Looking at the team, what needs to be fixed? We've spoken a lot about that defensive midfield situation. That's gone. But what is it that he needs to fix? Is it getting the players to give an effort? What do you want to see from his fix in 6 months?
So I know what I want to see, but I know it's not going to happen. So I want Man United to become the hardest working team in the Premier League. And I'm tired of seeing Man United being outworked week in, week out. But that's not going to happen because these players just don't work hard. Wahid mentioned that Ralph's going to bring this philosophy, and that's been a buzzword because Ollie apparently had no philosophy about coaching. But Ralph's philosophy has won him bugger all. He's won the same types of trophies that Ollie's won. Ralph's won a cup, a domestic cup, and he hasn't even won a league title. So do we want Ralph's philosophy or do we want Klopp's philosophy? Because if we want Klopp's philosophy, don't go and get Ralph in there. Like, I want Gordon Ramsay's food every day in the kitchen, but I'm not going to go and be like, hey, friend of mine, please come cook Gordon Ramsay's food because you watch a lot of Gordon Ramsay. I want to go get Gordon Ramsay. So it's like it's cool. I get it. It's a good idea. But like, we're putting a lot of responsibility on a guy who's really won bugger all. Like, he's won nothing. And he's like late 60s. He's got a cool paycheck. He's worked only in Germany. And then he went to Moscow. So like, yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit apprehensive about this. But again, it's not Ollie, so it's the savior of football because Ollie didn't know what he was doing, clearly.
You gave him the keys to the kingdom, and now all of a sudden, well, that's what it is. He's going to be there for 6 months. He's going to be at the top, putting in this German philosophy. Wahid, where does this new philosophy sit in the United way? I know you've been a proponent of, United need to go back to what they've always traditionally done, wingers and everything else, and all the beautiful things that gave them success. Are you now trying to say that they should move into what is a more different style, maybe used more modern in the Premier League?
No. When I've been a proponent of the United way, what I mean is the intangibles that go with it, to go along with promoting youth and the cultural aspect of the club. And I brought it up in the last time we spoke, is that Ole managed with a cultural viewpoint rather than a tactical viewpoint. And I've never been against the idea of not playing with these flying wingers and hard men in the middle like United do and all out attack. And I do understand that the club need to move into the 21st century in terms of the way we play football, because we haven't yet, we're being left behind by the likes of Pep's City, who play their own version of a tiki-taka football, and Klopp's Liverpool, who play with their gegenpress, and we're being left behind. So I've never been opposed to finding modern ways of competing with those teams. I have maintained that those modern tactics need to be inculcated with the cultural aspects of Man United, and those cultural aspects need to be respected and upheld. And I think that's true of any institution with a long history of success. Though, I do say one thing, that there's only actually been two very successful managers in Man United's history. So it's not like we have been this all-conquering side throughout our history. There have been lulls in Man United's history between Busby and Ferguson and before Busby. So it's not like it's always been success. I mean, we've had times of strife in this club, and now we're looking at a new time of strife, and we need to find a way of picking ourselves up and meeting the challenge. And if that's to revolutionize our tactics, well, I hope Ralf is able to do that. He has done that. And I know AB says he hasn't had success in stuff, but he's had success in building clubs. And maybe, just maybe, Ralf is the person to come in, instill a new philosophy within the club, and get it to a point where someone else, Pochettino, Ericsson Haug, whoever it is, can come in and take United to that next step. And we keep talking about this, the person to come before the person who's going to win. And we've had 1,000 people to come before the person who's going to come before winning. And hopefully this time we've gotten it right. This is, for me, the first sensible decision United have made at a boardroom level in a very long time.
Dean, I've heard the story for the last, I don't know, when did Ferguson retire? There's always been somebody
2012,
coming in
2013.
to take this team to the next level, somebody coming in to take this team. This time, what they did was they got a caretaker, a Gus Hiddink. Remember Gus Hiddink? Who also, there was a Brazilian man who coached Chelsea as a caretaker, got them a Champions League title, and
That's Di Matteo.
Di Matteo as well. Well, Chelsea. So essentially, they've gotten in some sort of a Chelsea model, but they're keeping the guy and they're sending him upstairs. I looked at this.
Because we have no one upstairs. We have Darren Fletcher upstairs, guys. Anyway,
don't on Darren Fletcher. He's doing I think Darren Fletcher is probably the one guy to come out of this entire situation with a bit of credit in the bank. I think Darren Fletcher is doing a damn good job at what he's doing. The problem is nobody really knows what Darren Fletcher's role is. He's got
no one knows what he does.
Between being a suit and being a coach, but whatever he's doing it right. I mean, you listen to Laurie Withall and them, and Darren Fletcher seems to be one of the only people holding this together.
Let me ask Dean this question. Is this not LVG 2.0 with a different spin of 6 months?
No.
I mean,
I disagree.
So my thing is, you look at United fans and they keep looking for, and like we said, the next Alex Ferguson. They keep looking for the next guy that's going to be good and the next guy that's going to take the club and replicate what they used to be. Even look at the way he talks. He talks about the 90s like it was yesterday. It's not going to happen anytime soon, right? So in terms of a progressive appointment, I do think Ralf going upstairs, if you call it, and having a say in the next coach is all fine and well on paper, but we also know that it's the Glazers and that they don't exactly listen to anyone that talks. So you also have to consider how much actual influence he's going to have when he goes upstairs. For me, the big thing is if United can put away the fact that you don't have to try and replicate what you were, you have to become something new, like what he'd said, and try and, you look at Chelsea now and the way they play, everyone knows the way they play. Liverpool, Klopp came in, changed the whole thing about Liverpool and they're at where they're at. So you do need to move along with the times. And I think, like what he'd said, Ralf isn't maybe a well-accoladed coach, but he did build the entire Red Bull football, essentially, in Germany. And he can do well. The problem is, that's
how many Champions Leagues have Red Bull won?
Okay, but what I'm saying is United shouldn't need to be built. It should be already a set structure that you can come in and you should work. So, and I think that's the problem. And maybe it's a step in the right direction. To say it's a Louis van Gaal, I don't know. It's a bit of a big call. Maybe he can fall down on the side of the pitch the same way Louis did in that match. We'll like to see he's a bit older, so I don't know. Maybe the bones are a bit frail, but I just struggle to see him having actually any long-lasting effect just based on what we've seen previously from United. And I don't think that previous coaches haven't tried. I mean, Ole was just, Ole didn't even want to park in Alex Ferguson's parking because he had so much respect for it. Like, get some balls, bro. Like, park in the coaching park. Park in the coach's parking. You're the coach. United need someone to grab them and just tell them what's right, tell them what's wrong, and actually shout at them. Say what you want to say. Be hard. If someone's not playing, don't play him. And that's exactly what you hope will happen as a United fan. Whether or not it'll come true, I don't know, because you've just got so many egos and so many strings and so many people that you're trying to please in that club. It's really tough for anyone. So I don't think it's going to be easy. But who else? That's the problem. Like, who else would United get?
We've got the greatest manager in United's history currently at the club.
Spurs legend.
Man is doing wonderful things. May as well just employ him.
Sir Michael Carrick, the undefeated. AD, what makes the situation different from previous times?
Well, I mean, Louis van Gaal had won everything there was to win before he came to Manchester United. He didn't build a club, he didn't build Red Bull, but he won the Champions League. But, that's okay. So I mean, guys, This dude, like, none of us knew who he was until like 3 months ago. So
Why? We played
Wow.
Schalke in the 2011
He was linked to
semi-finals.
Spurs.
He got
so,
Schalke to the semi-finals of the Champions League.
oh, that's great. Did he win the Champions League
2011.
with them?
We
You
played
guys
him.
aren't gonna- you guys shouldn't be looking at winning the Champions League,
But
though.
it was Schalke. That's like Everton making the semi-finals of the Champions League.
And
Wow.
Everton qualified for the
No,
Champions League.
Hold up. In that season, Schalke were not that bad. They weren't
Exactly.
actually that
Exactly.
bad. No.
Exactly. They weren't that bad because Ralf had been there building
Hold
that
up.
club. The same he did with Hoffenheim. The same he did with Schalke. The same he's done with Red Bull. He's
But
good
are
at
you
what he
guys
does.
Schalke or Hoffenheim? Are
We
you
are
at
not
that
those
level?
clubs, guys.
There's no use
Exactly.
crying over spilt milk because at the moment on the evidence of the last 10 games we're in relegation form. So yes, we shouldn't
That's fair.
be aspiring to
That is
Schalke
fair.
and we shouldn't be aspiring to Hoffenheim and Leipzig. But at this moment, that is what we need. We need someone to build a club.
But is 6 months
Okay.
enough, Wahid? Why not 18 months?
No, please, guys. This United boardroom will offer him a contract after 12 games. Trust me. Don't worry. It's okay. He'll be the next permanent manager. We'll give him a 3-year contract. A year
For
into
real,
that
sir.
contract, we'll give him a 7-year contract. It'll be okay.
What
So don't
coach would he pick? That's the thing. What coach fits his style of play? Does he have to be? Because Nagelsmann.
No. His philosophy, please, guys. We're
obviously is
using we're using buzzwords now, like synergy, and
Well, you have to start looking at who he would appoint. And does Poch fit that? Maybe, but
I don't think
Yeah.
Poch
Poch and
wants
go.
somebody above him to dictate.
Well,
I think Poch at Tottenham
he lived
never
under
had
that
that.
life.
It was just him and Daniel Levy.
yeah. Poch
And
has done
look at
that.
what's happening. Look at what's happening with him at PSG with the best player in the world, and he's seemingly struggling to do much there. So that's my only issue, is that you're gonna get some unknown German coach, which I'm okay with. But
I mean, Nagelsmann, him and Ralf are good friends.
But he's at Bayern. Eh?
if
Nagelsmann is at
Nagelsmann
Bayern.
gets fired, but I don't think he'll
Yeah.
get fired if Lewandowski's going to score all those goals he scored last year and he's going to do it again and
No
not
way
get a
he's
Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
But Wahid, you had Ralf Ragnick already on your list of 5 the moment Ole was fired. Why did you want him? Is it because of we're an Everton type of club now at Manchester United and we need him to build? But how does that work with the ghost of Sir Alex, the ghost of Matt Busby, this whole tradition? Because it takes a very strong manager to come in and create his own destiny in United and forget what's gone in the past and what's going to come in the future. And that's where everybody else has stumbled. Well, Mourinho tried. You guys just didn't like you didn't like the fact that he could park the bus and it was un-United. But outside of that,
collapsed the dressing room.
Does Ralf have that ability to be able to forego all those things that are holding Manchester United back, that tradition, that this is not how we do, the thing that Ole doesn't want to park in Sir Alex Ferguson's thing? Is he the guy? Because you had like Paulo Fonseca, you had Ralf Rangnick, you had some really lovely names. But when I looked at some of them, I was
Ragnick was, as you'll remember, my first choice.
Yes,
You'll
was.
remember.
So
Ragnick was the minute Ole got fired, when we had the statement from the club that we weren't going to appoint a permanent manager, we weren't going to go push the boat out and try and get Pochettino now. We were going to build and take time to get it. I'd said Ralf Ragnick, that's the one. I'd read about him. I knew about the jobs he'd done at Leipzig, Hoffenheim, Schalke, and I felt like he was the best candidate available to take this club forward. I personally didn't think we would be able to get him out of that job. I didn't think United would be able to make sensible decisions to go and get him. I thought they'd go along the lines of Ernesto Valverde or something like that. Having said that, I've read that Ernesto Valverde interviewed for the job and didn't come out looking great, whereas the club were blown away by how prepared Ralf was for his interview in a very short amount of time. He gave them solid structures and solid plans of what he was going to do to take the team forward, to salvage a season and to move the club forward long term. So having said that, that is what I wanted. whether he'll be able to do it is an unknown. I can sit here and debate for days about whether I think he'll be able to do it and the pros and cons about what he will be able to do and what he won't be able to do within the footballing structure at United, which isn't a good footballing structure, but it's being worked on. John Murtough and Darren Fletcher are working on getting that footballing structure right. And I think it is heading in the right direction. And maybe Ralf is the missing piece of the puzzle within this to get the structure right going forward. I'm not sure. I'm hoping so. And we'll have to see how the football follows.
I just want to see some sauerkraut being sold at Old Trafford starting from Crystal Palace to allow from you guys around. AB, you're sitting in 8th. Okay, we'll catch your question. AB, you guys are sitting in 8th. What do you want to see at the end of the season? What would be a successful turnaround?
A successful turnaround for me would be qualifying for the Champions League. That's successful because they fired Oli for a reason. So they fired him because they were worried about Champions League, in my opinion. And then winning a trophy. So he's got 2 trophies that he can possibly win, one being the FA Cup and one being the Champions League. So, yeah, that's a successful season. If you don't win that, then you're not a successful Manchester United manager, because successful Manchester United managers win trophies, because that's why we fired Oli, because he didn't win us a trophy. So
okay.
I'm gonna apply that going forward for the rest of the time. I don't care about this philosophy.
You're ready to be disappointed in, eh?
Carson
100%.
Wenger made a career out of telling every Arsenal member and board member that finishing 4th was a trophy. It's just sad that Ole didn't have the nous to do that. Because
low expectations.
That number two would have been a beautiful trophy in the non-existent trophy your trophy cabinet, but in the non-existent 2020 space in that trophy cabinet. Wahid, you're 8th. What do you want to see? What's the number? Like what is it at the end of the season where you're like, okay, Ralph's on the right track?
Well, there's 3 positions that are pretty much sorted. 1, 2, and 3 will be between City, Liverpool, and Chelsea at the end of the season. So there's only really 1 position left to fight for between United, Arsenal, Spurs, and potentially Leicester. But United are fighting a hard battle for 1 position. So whether we've probably left ourselves too much to do at this point to make that position ahead of the likes of Spurs and Arsenal, considering how settled those teams and squads are compared to our own. Arsenal, despite having a rookie boss, looking a little bit more, looking quite settled at the moment.
He's won a trophy, dog. He's won a trophy.
What we can stand on our heads and whistle through our arses.
You're 5 points or 5th.
So,
dude,
so
this board is supporting a coach.
It leaves us with, bro. You're not going to win the Champions League with Aaron Wan-Bissaka at right back. Come on, it's not going to happen.
Hey, look, it could. It could if you turn Jadon Sancho into a right back. And you play
the FA Cup. So I'm hopeful that we can win. We can probably we can do something in the FA Cup. But what I suspect we'll buy some credits in the bank for this manager will be a little bit of like a good feeling around the club, going on a good run, a run of wins, challenging for 4th, having like a bit of entertaining football, and going on some cup runs. If those cup runs don't end in trophies, well, we've been entertained. We've probably just left ourselves too much to do, and it won't be Ralph's fault that we've left ourselves too much to do. I mean, the team is currently last in terms of form on the Premier League. You're not going to change that and win the Champions. You're not going to go from last in the Premier League.
The same team came 2nd last year. It's the same guys.
Yes,
and the league has gone so much
last season. Season, but we
bought Champions League run. Sancho, Ronaldo
in terms of form. Bottom. You don't go from bottom of the Premier League in form to winning the Champions League.
I'm glad you said it, Wade. I'm glad you said it.
Dean, you had a question for the United diametrically opposed fans?
So this is my only thing that I started thinking about now is, right, so Ralph's coming in and we know the system he's going to play now, the philosophy, rock and roll football that Klopp plays, right? So now we've got Chelsea, and apparently Thomas Tuchel also learned a lot from Ralf and his days at PSG, and he's implementing that at Chelsea. So we're going to have a Chelsea team
except
that
more
plays,
successfully.
He's going to have a Chelsea team that plays in the same way.
We are such an entitled bunch. No matter what the club do, they are fucked. Like, they can't do any right.
But listen to my question, boy, and this is a serious question, right? So you're going to have Chelsea that plays the same way. You're going to have Liverpool that plays the same way. You're going to have City that are going to play the same way. You've got Spurs now. City play similar, okay? You've got Cancelo that swaps around and the wing backs and kind of similar football. But anyway, they play there. Conte, who plays the same way. Arsenal are getting better and they're doing their thing. At what point does this system that is now this revolutionary system that's coming in become stale? Because all the top teams in England are going to play the same way. So
and in Europe.
And this is my thing. Like, it's a very cool system to play. It's hard pressing. It's entertaining. But when 18 out of the 20 teams start implementing it in the Premier League, what are you going to do? Then it's just
add Brighton who do it. Add Southampton who tried to do it under Hasenhüttl. So everybody's trying it, and some teams are just trying it to better effect than others.
And this is what I'm saying. I think if everyone's playing the same system, right, it's going to come down to who's the better individual in each position. And that's why I'm saying take your right back. You've got Reece James and Trent, and okay, I know City's playing Kyle Walker, but you've got those two who are arguably the best right backs almost in the world, which is a big statement, but okay, versus Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Okay, boom, date conversation. Left back, you've got Andy Robertson and you've got Chilwell versus Luke Shaw, which fine, we've had that discussion. Boom, Luke Shaw's out of the discussion. You look at the front three, you've got Salah, Mane, Firmino, Jota when he wants to come in at Liverpool. You look at that front three at Chelsea. Okay, he plays a mixture. He's got Werner, he's got Ziyech, he's got players that can play. And I think United are probably best suited up front. They've got Rashford and Sancho, which I think are the two players I would want to play if I was a United fan, or I'd want to see play on either side. The missing link is that man in the middle, and Ronaldo's not going to be that man. Cavani's not going to be that man. Could Greenwood be that man? I'm not 100% sure. I can't say that I know a lot about him, but when you start looking at that, and it comes down to my earlier point, if everyone's going to play the same system, it's going to come down to who's the better people, and where you're going to get better people when these top clubs are already going to start attracting the next whoever. So United and the teams that are going to start implementing this system are going to start falling behind a little bit if you're playing the same system and teams are already ahead of you. Like AB saying, Chelsea's already won the Champions League. Liverpool's already won the Champions League. United aren't going to win the Champions League for the next 18 months, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it may be. Why would I then go to United versus Liverpool? Or
because we are gargantuan
versus Chelsea. But this is what I'm saying. So it's come up with that he's coming up. What I'm saying is these systems are cool and it's attacking football and everyone's going to be excited, but something's only new for a certain period until everyone starts doing it. And I
think that will come down to his man management, and will come down to any of those managers' man management. Because if we saying that that United have players maybe 10% worse off than Chelsea and Liverpool, which I'd argue, because it just depends on where you're looking on the field. For example, I think Bruno Fernandes is probably the best player suited to that type of system.
But he's in a poor run of form. Very poor run of form.
Forget his poor run of form. I'm talking about whether he's suited to the system. He's absolutely suited to the system. And it's about whether the manager can get the players he wants into the positions he wants and playing playing in the way he imagines football should be played. And that's what the manager needs to do. And whether he's able to translate that from his head, from his thoughts, and onto the field, that's where it will be, where the winning and losing will come in play. So Hasenhüttl can't get his players to do that, and that's why they get thrashed 9-0 every couple of weeks. Whereas Tuchel and Klopp can get those ideas of how football should be played from their heads and onto the field. It's whether Ralf will be able to get a bunch of lazy United players to play in his image. at some point, we need to remember that United players need blame placed at their feet. It can't always be the manager.
Exactly.
It cannot always be the manager. So at this point, we're saying that if United go another 5, 6, 7 weeks with players not running, because now we know the manager wants them running, the manager wants them fit, the manager wants them pressing. If they're still lazy and can't pull their fingers out their asses, then it's on them. It's on them. It's the players.
100%.
So I'm looking at Paul Pogba and thinking, this man doesn't run.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Paul Pogba's not going to run. He's just
Paul has not been playing.
Hey, look,
That's what
self-PP
we want Ralf to get the thoughts out of his head and onto the field. And that will come down to man management, about whether he can get these players to do stuff that the last 4 managers haven't been able to do.
That's actually quite interesting because Ronaldo is seemingly the guy who was leading this change at the beginning of the season. No one's eating dessert and all these things. Everyone's eating healthy. And all of a sudden, obviously, Ole's now been fired. But hopefully, Ralf can do what you say, Wahid, because AB right now is really angry at the players because they got Ole fired. And they've gotten every other manager before him fired.
I suspect we'll see Donny, Fred, and Bruno being the catalyst of that new Man United. The middle of the park being the catalyst.
Well, the fact that Ole never played Donny bothered me a lot, and then told me why when he got fired, I was like, well, yeah, because dude, this.
No, that's fair. I mean, it's the same manager who signed Harry Maguire, so yeah, he deserved to get fired.
Oaks. But one thing will remain, and we'll talk about it throughout the weeks and as the season goes, is what's happening at the top at Manchester United. Ed Woodward is leaving. So many things will be happening.
Maybe. We don't know.
And yeah, but January's coming up. Ralf is going to have a lovely January. He's probably going to replace one right back or keep the other. Who knows? But outside of that, gents, thank you very much for the conversation. Manchester United play Arsenal on Thursday. That's going to be a big one without probably Ralf in the stands. So that's going to be quite cool. But then they have Crystal Palace with Patrick Vieira going back to Old Trafford to go torment them one more time. And then they have this great run of games.
He was tormented there by Roy Keane every week. You sit down. Down.
But thank you very much, guys, for joining us. Remember, to all the viewers and the listeners, please do follow. Please do join and enter in our competition here with Classic Shirts. ZAR, they've been really, really grateful in giving us a shirt to give away. This is a classic one. We spoke about Manchester United. Maybe relive the glory days before Ralf comes and starts a new version of his own Manchester United glory days with the Gegenpress and everything all German. And so we hope that AB will be able to calm down and enjoy Manchester United playing, because the players will now be running for
No
Ralf.
one ever enjoys watching their team play.
I do.
No one.
I really enjoy watching Arsenal play because it's comedic at times and it's poetic at others. But maybe that's why I support Arsenal, because the football they play is beautiful. But
Carrick is coming for you. Carrick is coming.
Okay, let him come. I've got my kids. Tomiyasu and the boys. But outside of that, enjoy your week. Have a great time. And cheers, goodbye, good night, and lesale kakahiso till we meet again. Ralph's the new savior. Remember that. Ole's gone now. New era in Manchester United.